Hey guys, I was inspired this past weekend to um, do this short video, just kind of giving you this overall view of what part of this lesson was about. It was a good session, and covered some basics of playing over chords that I thought maybe some of you would get something out of. I don't know. I thought I'd throw it on there. This is just in my rec room here, doing this real quick, but I want to throw it out there. And what the lesson was on was changing chords, and when you're changing chords, how to play over them and do it effectively and make it sound good. A lot of players aren't used to doing that, and just got to be easier ways to do it so you're not thinking all the time. The one problem that the student of mine had was that every time you went to change to a chord, it didn't sound musical. It sounded forced. It sounded very left brain. You probably know what I'm talking about. We all do, right? And you have to find ways to get around that, to make it sound like it's spontaneous, to make it sound like it's musical, to make it sound like it's not so thought out. And these are things that you have to work on and get them under your fingers, so that when you're actually in a performance mode, that you're not thinking. You're just reacting to what's going on, listening what's in your head, and conveying that on your instrument. But there's one quick way that I wanted to show you, which usually works out very well. It's a high success rate with students, is playing over a 2-5 in the major key. So just for example, real quick, let me get to my point. If I'm playing, a D minor 7, I'm just playing a 2 chord in C, and then from there you want to play some kind of like a G altered chord, right? The 5 chord, full tension, and then it resolves to the 1. How do you play over that? Well, I mean, you could use, C major and get through it okay, but you're not really playing through those chords. You're not making musical sense. You may be hearing tones in your head, sounds that you're just not be able to create using just one scale. So instead, you want to play what's called through the changes. An easy way to do this is just think about playing over the D minor with that D minor shape. Any D minor shape that you like. It doesn't have to be that one. But so for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to think about playing a line over this chord. Okay, something real basic, right? Now from here, I'm going to move on to that 5 chord. And the way I see this, and this is just the way my brain works, I'm going to see this shape, or any D minor shape that I like, as these dots. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about playing all the dots that are to the left or to the right of these dots that form this chord. So for example, if I have an A here, I'm going to move back to A flat. If I have an E, I'm going to move back to E flat. If it's C, it's C flat. And I'm just going to move these around, thinking outside that box to create this tension. Okay, very right brain way, very visual way of looking at the fingerboard. And in this case, what I'm going to tell you to use is an A flat minor. So the rule here is if you have your 5 chord, right, and it's altered and it's full tension, you need it to resolve to the 1, then you're just going to go up a half step and use a minor quality or a minor shape. Okay, it can be any kind that you like, depending on what that 5 is. But again, I'm not going to get in that too deep. This is just kind of an umbrella statement here. Obviously, when you take lessons, we go over this in more detail, but A flat gets the job done over this G altered, right? So we do something like a. That's how I might get through that one. And from here, you want to explore how it resolves and which notes you can use to resolve to what chord. Like in this case, I resolved to the 9th, right? I might want to resolve to the 5th. I might go same kind of idea. That was the 5th of the chord. Or I might go down the octave if I do the same thing. that sound nice. What about the third, right? Just using that same shape, I might go, now resolve down to the third. Each one has its own unique color. And, you know, you just sit there and you just work through the sounds and see what you like. And the idea is to resolve to either a chord tone or to resolve to an extension of that chord. Like in this case, I'm using C major 9, so I'm going to think about maybe the ninth and resolve to that. And that's always going to sound nice. So that's basically it, okay? Pick any of these shapes that you like. You know, it may be a D minor shape up here, or right to a note that was outside of that. It sounds great with the 5 chord, and I'll resolve to a G in that case, the 5th of the C, okay? Anyway, I hope that helped shed some light on how to play through some different changes. Again, just to recap, if it's a 2 chord, you just play over that shape of that 2 chord, connect those dots, and then if you go to that 5 chord, which is altered, you just go up a half step, play around the A flat minor shape in this case, and then resolve to a chord tone of the 1 chord here, which is C. And that's kind of like lesson 1. You try to get to that, you know, chord tone or that extension and make that work. Okay, and of course this can be broken up into actually 3 or 4 lessons. But like I said, that's just kind of like an umbrella statement of how to start thinking about how to play over chord changes in a little bit more of a simple manner and make it sound musical, and you know, not be thinking so hard. You know, you can connect these lines, make them sound melodic, using shapes that you already know. Then you work on shapes that you don't know in order to expand what you can do.